welcome back to Shelabobby Handmade. My name is Caitlin, known just about everywhere on the internet as Shelabobby, and this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting, my crochet, finished objects, works in progress, acquisitions, all the fun stuff. Today is traditional format podcast. I don't think there'll be a very long one, before I do. While I have had steady progress on 4-5 projects if you count my cross stitch, I haven't got any finished objects, but I do have quite a bit of progress on the things that I did work on. So we're gonna jump right in. It has been my normal 2 weeks since my last recording. I think I recorded last time on a Monday, so just shy of 2 weeks, 1 day difference. I usually record on a Sunday and post on a Sunday, but lately my schedule's been a little bit wonky due to just life stuff lifing. But yes, it's been my normal 2 weeks, and spoiler, I have no socks. I mean, I have socks, but I didn't work on them the past 2 weeks. I still have the Wendigo socks, which are a DK weight pair of socks, and the Under the Hill socks, which I think I did pick up one night and finished the first pattern repeat, but I haven't done any more than that. So I don't have those to show you today, but I do have an update on my 2 blankets, the little ripple tee for my niece, and a new cast on, as well as my cross stitch. So shouldn't be too long of an episode this time, and maybe next time I'll have some blanket finishes. We'll see. All right, so we'll jump right in with my anthology throw, which is in my Walt Disney bag. This is the anthology throw by Helen Stewart. I am using the Ruby and Roses Advent from 2024. I have her 2025 one for this year. Not sure what I'm going to do with that one just yet. Maybe I'll talk about that. I'll do some plans at the end for my Advents and what I'm going to cast on soon. But anyway, my anthology throw. I'm using them in order, I believe. I did put them on a extra cable with stoppers on the end, but I think one fell off and got mixed in, so I'm not sure exactly where it is in the order, but we'll see. Before I show you the blanket, I only have 3 colors left. So this is the one. This is the one right here that I'm not sure if it's in the right spot or not. So this one may be off because I believe this was the last color that I got. And then this one here, sorry, I'm backwards in my viewfinder. This one here will be the next color that I put in. So this one will wind up being the I-cord bind off. It does say that you want to have at least 20 grams for that, so I am looking forward to see how that's going to end, because I am not switching my colors when it is asked for in the pattern. The way that Helen has written it, it tells you when to switch your colors. It tells you, like when the increases are. Of course, you can always make that bigger, and I am just using up all of my yarn. So I have put a marker in here, and this has been a really big focus of mine this past 2 weeks, really. So here it is. So I've really been working on that border. Let's see if I can find my stitch markers. They're in here somewhere. All right, so this mushroom marker is where you saw it last time. So I've put in, I think that's 2.5 colors. Yeah, I've put in 2.5 colors, so that's 60 grams worth of yarn. These rows go a little bit slower because there's over 1,000 stitches on the needle right now, and one row is just plain knitting, but the next row has something that you have to do every couple of stitches. And even though I can read it now, it's much easier to read now that I have the pattern established in the border. So this is kind of like a little chevron-y border. I put the white marker in, and that is where the pattern would suggest binding off. So right now I am 5 rows past that, and each of these minis do about 5 rows. So I expect there to be probably 10 rows, about an inch, based on my gauge, of extra fabric in a circle. It is an I-cord bind off. It doesn't say it's an I-cord bind off, but from like reading the instructions on how you do it, it's an I-cord bind off. So I need to just make sure I have enough yarn for that. I mean, there's always yarns that I could use in place of it, in my scraps, you know, if I don't feel like it's going to be enough, but it should. But yeah, so that is where my anthology throw is going. This blanket is for me, so no real rush to get it done, but since it's so close, I want to finish it so that I can clear out this blanket to cast on more blankets. So I'm hoping to have this done by the end of November. That's the goal for that one. This is how much I have left of the current color, so that's about a round and a half of the pattern. So this one I'm going to leave out because I want to finish up that mini skein today. Possibly while I'm editing this, I can be working on that. But yes, I want to kind of finish that one this month. Today is the 23rd, and I actually have next week off for family time, and then we are celebrating Thanksgiving on Wednesday instead of Thursday. Just the way our family schedules work, we celebrate holidays when we can, and the most people can be together. So we are celebrating on Wednesday. My mom and I have a couple plans to maybe do some Christmas shopping. So other than that, I'll be crafting. So I hopefully will get that blanket done, and that'll be a finished object in the next video. And then the diagonal baby blanket, that's the next one. So this one is a fat squirrel bag. And then here is my diagonal baby blanket by Snuffle Bean Yarn. I am using 5 skeins from Stash, and this is for a friend who doesn't wear like accessories, socks, and things like that, so I'm making him a blanket instead. And where that Buzz Lightyear stitch marker is where you saw it last. So I've put in about 30 rows on this particular project. And then as soon as the anthology throw, I've kind of been focusing on that one to get it done. As soon as that one's done, then this will be my main blanket focus. I don't think I'll be able to finish it in November. It's a stretch goal, but not one that is like necessary in any way. But yes, so I finished up this row, or this section of color, and then I am on this one here. So let me go through the colors. So this one, they're not in any particular order. I'm just gonna share what's here. This color here is Let's Get Basted by Yarnable. This one is Witch Please by Yarnable. This one is Somebody Loves You by Yarnable. This one is Invisible String by Ruby and Roses. And this one is a one of a kind from Yarnaceous Fibers. He wanted purpley grays, and I think that this blanket does that justice. So this is a corner to corner blanket. It's a free pattern. And I have gotten myself all tangled up in the yarn. So I have just, when I switched to this current color, I started my decreases on this side. So I have officially turned all corners, and so now it's just decreasing it to that last corner. And then on this side, I did 2 colors in the length, I guess you would call that, like making it a little bit of a longer blanket. And then I started the decreases on this color. So you don't see it on this one as much because that is the corner that we turned. And then that's one side. It's a fairly big blanket. So yeah, I showed it to him. We were doing D&D. He's one of my D&D friends. So we were doing D&D and I was working on this. So I showed it to him. He said he likes the colors. So excited to get this one done and sent off to him. I'm going to move that marker because it may be a few days before I work on this one again so I can finish up my anthology throw. So I will move Buzz Lightyear while we're looking at him. But I should have enough yarn. I've been weighing every once in a while, and of course now we're in the decrease. So I think we have plenty of yarn. I know that I have at least 30 grams. I think the invisible string, the one that I just finished, is the smallest one. So I'm going to say that's about 30-ish grams. So I have plenty. The biggest cake that I have is the Let's Get Basted. And I believe that's the next color. So yeah, I think all will be well there. That's a very mindless, easy to do pattern. I pick this one up a lot when I'm playing Roblox with my niece. So that one comes out quite a bit just because it's easier to just do stockinette and just have the decreases on either side. All right, that's the blanket updates. I do have my other blanket, which I cannot think, oh, the Go-Go Throw. I still have that one on pause for now. That one is for my sister, but I don't think I need it for Christmas because I have her something on the needles for that, and then there's tons of socks for her. So I'm not worried about getting that one done. So it is on pause and will likely carry over into the new year. We'll talk about the blanket plans after the rest of the WIPS, I think. So the next one is the Ripple Tee. So this is the Little Ripple Tee by Jessie Made Design, and this is a tee for my niece. I am using the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, and the colorway is Dusty Artichoke. Yes. So far this yarn has been okay. I have never used any Knitting for Olive yarn, and the shop that I ordered this from, which is Oak City Fibers in North Carolina, they had a sale, and so that's why I picked this up for my niece. I have 3 balls of it and I should have plenty. This is how much I have left of the first ball, so I'm getting very, very close to finishing this up. That was kind of my goal for the week, but I really got into the anthology throw, and me and my niece had a little extra time this week as well to play, so we've been enjoying that. All tangled up here. All right, so where the little chicken is was where you saw it last, and so I've done about half more of that, and that means that I'm about halfway done with the body. I've asked her some questions about how she wants the fit of it, the length of it, and things like that. A lot of young girls' clothes right now are cropped, and while those are adorable, she prefers her t-shirts a little bit longer. So I have a t-shirt here that I'm using as an example, and we'll kind of go off on that. But I just noticed this is where I fixed where I had purled the wrong way, and so it's a little wobbly there, but it looked like a hole back here. But anyway, yes, so this is about halfway done on the length. I am using Jessie's pattern for guidance on this, but my gauge is incorrect. I'm knitting a size that does not exist. So I'm kind of using hers as a guide. I've never really done that before, you know, other than like socks and stuff where you adjust the stitch count to match, and then matching a gauge with something that doesn't quite fit the gauge that you have. But because there is no extra size, I am knitting, you know, a size beyond what the last size in the pattern is. I'm hoping it'll be okay. It's a fairly simple design as far as, you know, there's no crazy shaping or anything like that. There's going to be a V-neck in the front, and you know, it's just little cap sleeves. So I don't think there'll be anything crazy to adjust on it, but I'm just kind of using that as a guide for this pattern because I needed to make sure, because she's, you know, a young girl, I wanted to make sure that the fabric did not become see-through, and at the gauge that it called for, it would be. And while she can wear like a little, what are those things called? Gone. It's gone. It's just out the window. Tank top. While she can wear a tank top underneath it, and most likely will, I still want it to be, you know, the most appropriate as it can be. This was her favorite color when I purchased the yarn. It has now changed to black, but she's still very excited to wear this with some of her jeans and her black pants that she has. And I'm going to knit her a black one after this. If it turns out okay, I got some black yarn while I was at SAF, and so I will make her one of those. Pulled the yarn in the drawstring. I never have problems with zippers, but drawstrings, I always get my yarn stuck. Anyway, that one is that. I was going to try and make that one for Christmas, but I may or may not have gone a little overboard on her requested gift, and so I'm not worried about that one for Christmas. She will get it when it is complete. She'll have some handmade gifts. I have her a pair of socks already done, so she'll still get something handmade. This is my new cast on, which is in a Fat Squirrel Fibers. This is what I'm calling my Tiffany cardigan. This is a self-drafted pattern. If I can find it, I will put a picture here of what this is drafted after. So my sister really, really liked this cardigan that she bought from, I think, TJ Maxx, or, you know, one of those overstock stores, you know, where it has a whole bunch of different brands. Anyway, she really, really likes this cardigan, and she asked me, I'm going to say early spring of this year, if, you know, I thought I could make something similar. And it's a very, very simple rectangle garter stitch. I think the one that she has maybe a knit row in between the garter stitch, you know, so that there's an extra stockinette space. Maybe it's stretched out. I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't really look like there's an extra knit, you know, stockinette section, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so I told her, yes, I have that. I have some Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Va that I had left over from a commission, and I have plenty of it there. So I asked her if she liked that color. She said yes. So I have been over analyzing for many, many months. And then I asked her, once I figured out, you know, about how I wanted to do it, I asked her for the cardigan so that I could measure it and get all of the dimensions for it. I realized while I was doing that there was some short rows on the back of the neck to bring it in, bring it up a little bit in the back. And then that broke my brain for a little while, and I was trying to figure out how I could do short rows and garter. Short rows are my nemesis. I have yet, well, I shouldn't say that because I have successfully done it now, but I had yet up until that point done short rows and they turn out correctly. I will do short rows, but they're usually lopsided somehow, even though I'm following a pattern, and this doesn't have a pattern. I'm writing it myself. So anyway, I did a lot of research on short rows, did a lot of research on cast on, cast offs. I've done all sorts of research on just how a construction, the way that I want it to be. So if you're imagining this cardigan, the way that I am making it is I have done a provisional cast on to start the back panel. And then I have done, obviously, garter back and forth. I am doing a detailed pattern on the left and right of the back panel. And then one side of the front panel will have that detail again. And then one side of the panel, that will be the inside of the cardigan, will have an I-cord, a built-in I-cord. So I'll do an I-cord while I'm knitting the body, and then the bottom will be an I-cord bind off, so it'll have I-cord basically all around the raw edges, and then the sleeves have that detail, and then underneath I will sew it together, and so it kind of brings that detail around the sleeve and down the side of the body. And I've realized that I don't really like the edge that will be around the sleeve, so I'll probably pick that up and do an I-cord bind off. So there'll be I-cord everywhere, and then that it's basically a slip stitch detail around the outside and side. All that to say, I have cast on, I have knit a couple rows. I did about, it's between a 1/4 and a 1/2 inch of short rows just to bring it up slightly in the middle. I don't know if that's enough. I was expecting it to be more of a 1/2 inch, but it's reading more of a 1/4 inch. But now I'm continuing to knit until I get to the desired length. I've done a huge swatch, measured everything from that, and so I know what I'm doing, and we know what we're doing. So this is the yarn. So as I said, it was Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Va, which is 051. I got this for a commission, I think it was last year. I did a commission where it was a cardigan that I was holding together with some mohair to, you know, shift that color a little bit. And it was out of stock for a really, really long time. And so I was trying to order it through my local yarn store. And then it came on stock on Wool Warehouse. And so I purchased what I needed from Wool Warehouse to go ahead and get it started, because it was for a birthday. So like I needed to get it going. But soon after that, the yarn was ordered and shipped from the local yarn shop. And it's worsted weight superwash merino. So I knew I would, in a dark green blue color. So I knew I would use it. So I went ahead and purchased it, and so I have a sweater's quantity plus left over. So finally getting to use that. So here is the colorway, and like I said, it's a bluey green. It shifts a lot. Sometimes it looks, you know, straight black. Sometimes it looks like a foresty dark green. I was knitting on it in the car today, and it was, you know, a really, really pretty blue. Here's another skein of it, and you can see this one's kind of less blue, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of shifting of the colors. May have to carry, you know, 2 for a little while up the side, but that's how Malabrigo is. Anyway, I have a giant cardigan, garter stitch cardigan made out of Mecca, and you can see the lines where the colors changed, because that's just how the Malabrigo does. It doesn't bother me because it just kind of looks like chunky stripes of, you know, similar colors, but I'm going to try and fade this one in a little bit. All right. So here's what I have. Show you the right side if I can find it. There it is. All right. So my marker here with the little snowman is the front, the right side of the work, and here's that slip stitch detail. And so I'm going to, you know, sew down these two together when it goes to the side, when I'm doing the side seam. And then this is also where I'm going to pick up and do an I-cord around the sleeve. So you can see, hopefully, there's a slight difference in the center of the width of these. And so this is the whole back panel. It is quite oversized. If I found the picture, you'll see, you know, it's a quite oversized cardigan. But yes, it's just garter. You cannot see, in my opinion, where the short rows are in the fabric, which is really, really cool. I did wrap and turns, and you don't resolve the stitch when you come back in garter. So I did that. And if you've noticed, my provisional cast on is actually on an extra cord. So I have, you know, the stitch stoppers on it, but this is just a ChiaoGoo interchangeable cord, so that when I am ready to come back and pick up the front sides, I don't have to pick up any stitches. I just will put my needle on, knit what I need to onto my second cord to start the next panel, put this back on, go back and forth, and I can just adjust it how I need. It was very, very easy. The quickest cast on that I have ever done on this cord, because it was quite stiff, and I was just looping it back and forth on the cord. So easy peasy. Definitely recommend that for any provisional cast on, as long as it looks nice when I am picking up and continuing knitting. That's all that really matters. But anyway, that is where I am on the Tiffany cardigan. This panel, obviously Rios is I think they consider it a worsted weight, but I have always knitted it at a DK weight gauge. So this is kind of like a DK weight cardigan. I am making notes in case I want to make this in the future, or if I try it on and really, really like it, I can make myself one because I should have enough yarn. So I am making notes to do that. So if you're interested when this is done in something, I wouldn't mind sharing the recipe for it. It would definitely be a recipe and not like anything graded for different sizes, but yes. So that is where I am on that one. I only have 2 of the skeins wound up. I had a lot of winding to do when I did this, and winding is not my favorite part of knitting. So I didn't do too many. I wasn't sure how many I was going to need. I think I'm definitely going to need 3 at least, maybe 4. So I'll pull down 2 more, and I'm going to try and, shift those colors in a little bit, carry it up the side. I don't know how that will work, but hopefully I can at least get past the shoulder section so that there's no, carrying inside of the shoulder, since I need to pick up and do I-cord. So if it's on the seam side, that should be fine. I don't know. I've never handmade or hand drafted, self-drafted anything like that before. So we're working with it. All right. So that is all of the knitting and crochet. I think we only had knitting today. So let me talk about my plans really quick before I bring out my cross stitch. I have several blankets that I want to cast on and make. This is typically the time of year that I really, really want to start blankets and, cast on blankets and work on blankets. Those cooler months. That's when I started the Go-Go Throw and the Anthology Throw. I also started in January. That's when I started these 2. I also started in January of this year. I started my mom's granny stripe that I gave to her for her birthday. So I've had a lot of blankets on my mind and really want to start some. So I have some ideas floating around. I have the Haunted Holidays advent calendar from Fangirl Fibers that I had last year. I have that ready to go with yarn that I purchased from Saf and an undyed cone to make a crochet. It's not a granny square, but it's made from squares. To make that one, I did an advent swap with the community from Roro and Cades. Got that in the mail on Friday. I've decided that I'm going to do the new crocheted jelly roll from, I almost said Kay Litton, and that's not right. Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. I think I'm going to do a crochet jelly roll with that advent, at least starting it with that. And then I have my, scraps that I'll add into it. And then I want a knitted jelly roll blanket. And so I don't know if I'm going to start with the Ruby and Roses one or how I'm going to do that, because I also have a lot of mini scraps. I have a lot of ideas for that one. So that one may not get cast on until, next year at some point. But when Advent starts on December 1st, I'm going to start the crocheted jelly roll one for sure. I also, Advent-wise, I have the swap one. I have my Ruby and Roses, which are, the 24 minis. And the swap one is 24 minis. And then I have a 4 full skein from Chromatic Yarns. She changed her business to just be Chromatic Yarns, but I still always think of her as Corner of Craft. So I have that as well, which I don't know what I'll do with those skeins. I might open them, see how they look together, and and make a decision from there. But those are all my advents. I did get Charlie her advent, and do not worry. I know I mentioned in the last podcast that I won't be doing Vlogmas this year, but do not worry. Charlie will still get her advent. This will be her 4th year of advent, so she still gets hers. She'll be getting her, replacement blueberry if need be, so don't worry about her. Yeah, but I think that is all of my plans for blankets. I really want to cast on all the blankets, but I got to get some of these off the needle first. Okay, so let me show you my cross stitch. So I forgot to take a picture of this when I started it the other day. So you'll see a picture from the podcast down here of where it was. And this is where I got to. So I have switched. I ordered some Nerd hoops. I ordered a pack from Amazon. They were on sale for, 4 different sizes. There's one bigger than this, and then there's 2 smaller. And I really liked this when I was using it or I'm still using it, but I just haven't worked on it, for my Heaven and Earth Design cross stitch. So I wanted to get some of this because it is a little bit easier for me to hold, and it's a little bit heavier, unfortunately, than the wooden one I was using, but it's still easier to grip and hold. I can actually, how I was doing a lot was having it on my arm like this and then stitching back and forth. But yes, that is where I am. This is still clue 2. Oh, I should probably tell you what it is. This is the holiday house from Satsuma Street. The last clue has been released. All clues, I think there was 6 total. Obviously I am not I am not stitching it along with them, keeping up with them. I started way late. I think the 4th clue had come out when I started on mine, so not worried about keeping up with it, but I do want to have this as a finish to hang up. I don't think it'll be done in time for Christmas for sure, but cross stitch is slow. I don't know, I guess from watching, FlossTube, watching people do cross stitch projects, I feel like cross stitch is quicker, but it's not for me. And that's probably because my main hobby is knitting and I don't cross stitch as much, but yeah, it'll be a little while before this one is complete. Where this blue line is right here, this is where the half of the chart is. So it's not a very big chart. It'll probably come out to about right here. And then I think it comes up to about the top of this. So it's not a huge, finish or anything like that. It's, bite-sized for the stitch along that they were doing, but I did most of the work that is done on here yesterday. I think I did about a 3-hour session that I was really focused in on this and listening to my audiobook. So that is where I am on that. I'll show you the back so that you can see how that's going. It's a little bit messy, but that's fine. We're not worried about it. What else did I want to tell you about this? Oh, the fabric. So this is a Be Stitch Me monthly fabric. The colorway is Oh Hey There, and it is just a light yellowish mottled color that helps that white stand out a little bit more where the snow is, and doesn't blend in with any of the other colors that's in the pattern. So because it's not a full coverage, there's gaps, like there's no stitches that are going to go in between here. So you need to have it where it won't blend in. But yeah, that is where I am on that cross stitch. I will continue with it. I'm really enjoying it. There's enough of the stitches there that are, pretty straightforward colors that it's just block stitching and you just continue with it. There's a little bit of confetti, like I haven't finished the bush. There's still a couple stitches in there that need to be filled in. It's like 1 or 2 stitches, so and that color is not anywhere else near this pattern, so, or in this section of the chart. So that is where I'm on that. I will continue and enjoy that. Now, I just have acquisitions to show you, and I only have 2, so not too many there either. One is the Fangirl Fibers Cryptids, Myths, and Legends for this month. I think everyone should have them because I've had this for quite a while. But this is the unicorn colorway. I get the DK weight and have been making socks for my grandma. I think I've made myself a pair and my sister a pair out of them. But yes, so I likely won't be doing any monthlies unless someone comes out with a theme that just really I can't pass up. I probably won't be doing any monthlies in the next year because I have quite a bit to catch up on from this year. And then I picked up from Super Glow Fibers, I picked up this color. And if you have been with me since earlier this year, you will recognize this color. I can't remember, it was Ghoul something. Ghoul So Confusing or something like that. In the DK weight that I made for my grandma for her birthday in June. And her sister, my great aunt, she requested that color. And I was like, I can't get that color. It was a Halloween, like, collection. It's now, you know, June. Can't do it. Sorry. And she was like, well, I want that color. If you can't get that color, I don't want socks. And I was like, okay, all right. Sure. I'll see what I can do, but I don't think so. And, yeah, she put out this, the Hollow Color and Texture series, and this one is called Clear Blue, but it is exactly the same color that was out for the year before. So I picked up a skein of that to make her some socks, hopefully for Christmas. If I don't get to them, not the end of the world, I will gift them to her after Christmas. But that is what this skein is for. And now that I have shown it to you, I can wind it up and maybe get it on the needles. DK8 socks are quick, so nothing too crazy there. But yes, that is the story behind that. It is the exact same color that I had for my grandma's and just a different name. So that is all that I have for that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you've made it this far in the video, I don't typically ask, but I have a goal to get 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and we were trucking along and it's kind of stalled a little bit in the numbers. And so I thought I would ask that if you enjoyed my video, if you would please consider subscribing to get me to my goal. It is free. There is no cost to you. It just adds you to a notification list if you want. You can even turn off the notifications, and just adds me to your subscription list so that if you go to the subscriber tab, it will show you my video when I come out with one. And then if you will consider that, that would be lovely. And if you are subscribed, please consider liking the video, because that also helps my video get shown to other knitters, crafters, crocheters like you, and gets me out there. So I would super duper appreciate it if you would consider that. And yes, that is all for me. I will hopefully see you in 2 weeks. If you don't see me in 2 weeks, don't panic. It's probably just life is very, very busy near the holiday season, but I will see you next time.